My father died when I was 20, and his response to that was to delve very deeply into religion. And so for a while, he was in a really severe Yentl situation, right?
Yeah.
And at that place, and he's since like swung back the other direction, but he's still pretty religious. So he was
Which
in.
I like. I like that when someone can realize that they've gone too far
Yeah.
and pull back and go,
Exactly.
I still believe, I still have beliefs, but yeah.
Well, what's funny about my brother is that he started in this very, very, very like intense place, but because he was there and he didn't belong there, he would rebel. So he said on Christmas he was running through the halls singing Christmas carols, which is like not cool. Not cool. Like, but he was doing it to be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Which is just like, you're here voluntarily. You can just leave. You don't have to say fuck you. You can just walk out. You're not in prison.
Yes.
But he was, in a way. But anyway, he was reading The Lord of the Rings, of all things.
Sure.
And this guy is like, what happens is when you go to Israel, you can get very easily sucked into some of these extremely religious yeshivas is what they're called. They're seminaries.
Okay.
But they're not seminaries to train you to become clergy like how they are in Catholicism. You go to seminary basically to become clergy.
Yeah.
In Judaism, basically everyone needs to go to seminary, at least for some period of time.
Okay, to sort of know what you believe, to sort of get really in touch with your religion.
Well, the thing about Orthodox Judaism is that the highest form of worship in Orthodox Judaism is academic study.
Okay.
So that is why Jews sometimes they might, come off as smart.
Because they're nerdy. Because they're nerdy as all hell. Because they're doing some reading.
Well, they're doing reading, and the result of that has been that over the past 2,000 years or whatever, Judaism has had one of the highest literacy rates of any cultural or ethnic group ever. So therefore, after 20 generations of study as the highest form of worship, then you get it's not like genetic. It's like cultural. It's like,
cultural.
why are there so many Nobel Prize winning Jews? Not. It's probably because they've lauded study as the highest.
Years. Everybody's like, why don't you have a book in your hand?
Right, and I wouldn't, just to be very pill-pull. Again, no pun intended. It wasn't 6,000 years. No. Now, prior to the Romans coming to Israel and fighting the war with the Hebrews and kicking the Hebrews out of what was ancient Palestine and forcing them to wander.
Right.
Judaism was much more of a religion of the earth or whatever, the way that religions back then were, where you had a priest class and they did the religionness for you, kind of like how Catholicism was for a long time.
Right.
They would slaughter the ox for you, and if you did something naughty, you'd bring them a sacrifice. You bring them money to buy a thing to sacrifice, or you'd
a chicken or whatever.
You just weren't as involved. You were religious, but you were kind of you weren't like an expert.